Hi, in this presentation, I will be doing an evaluation of the pay for performance model. I will start with a quick introduction of the model, evaluate its pros and cons, and then finally share my personal opinions. So for starters, what is pay for performance? It is a form of financial incentive that allows employees to earn more according to their performance. There will usually be predetermined benchmarks set in exchange for the additional pay. One example of a company that implements this model is the Coca-Cola Company. Here is an overview of the points that I will be elaborating on as my evaluation for this model. So firstly, a pay-for-performance model can help to improve company culture and promote collaboration. The equity theory and the power of comparison recognizes that should an employee makes a comparison with a coworker and determines that for their own given level of input, they themselves are receiving lesser or worse outcomes. This can cause them to become less motivated and may change their work behavior as a result. However, with a pay-for-performance model, there's a standardized reward system which removes possibilities of unfair treatment. The level of outcome is justified by the corresponding increases in reward, which can be standardized across everyone, removing any doubts of subjective or unfair treatment that employees may receive. Also, employees can become more motivated and likely to be more collaborative than competitive against each other as they can work together to hit the targets, which creates a win-win situation for everyone. Now, everyone will hit higher goals, higher targets, and enjoy the increased benefits. And on the supervisor side, he also enjoys an increase in performance output from his employees. This is also a way that a supervisor can show his support for his employees, as the targets are an indirect indication that the supervisor wants to see his employees excel at their roles and is willing to reward them for their hard work. Secondly, the rewards in a pay-for-performance model are usually financial, which is proven to be a good source of extrinsic motivation for most employees, especially in Singapore where there's a high cost of living. With this model, employees are assured that high-performance output will be rewarded financially, which could be one of their personal motivators. On the organization side of things, it doesn't hurt the company's bottom line, and it ensures that a certain level of performance output is met before the financial incentive is given out. And last but not the least, this model can ensure that a performance by the employees are aligned with the company goals and values. When setting the goals for each tier of reward, it is important to align them to the company's overall goals. This can be done with cascading goals, where the overall goals are set at the highest level and cascades down to each unit, team, and then individual. This link gives the employees a better understanding of how their work can contribute to the company as a whole. It is important for employees to feel that they are contributing value to the company and allows them to feel a sense of relatedness under the situational theory of work motivation. This makes them become more intrinsically motivated. So as a whole, the pay for performance model can motivate the employees both extrinsically with the financial incentives as well as intrinsically with the predetermined goals that is aligned with their own personal goals and the organization goals. Now, it is hard to implement a effective pay for performance model as there are different challenges. Firstly, it is hard to implement a fair model. Employees have different skills and roles, which makes it hard to implement a standardized model. However, the logistical cost of designing and implementing an individual model for each employee can take too much time and effort for a huge corporation. It will require rounds of conversations between the supervisor and each employee to determine the appropriate goals and corresponding rewards. There's also the issue of tracking progress that can get too complicated for larger teams. Secondly, not all roles have responsibilities and output that can be quantified. For example, if the employee was from sales, it would be easy to create goals according to the sales quantity. However, other roles such as administrative or those in the creative industry, these are outcomes that are less quantifiable but equally important job functions. Their evaluations can then become more subjective according to their own supervisors. Hence, the cost of design and implementation should be a serious consideration when a supervisor is deciding whether to implement a pay-for-performance model. So in my opinion, I do support this model because coming from Singapore, where there's a high cost of living and almost every working adult is chasing to be financially independent, financial incentives are definitely a strong motivator for most, even though it may just be extrinsic. Hence, I do believe that there is merit in implementing this model. However, to ensure a fair and effective model, supervisors need to do a thorough job analysis to ensure that this will be fair for everybody. Here are 3 things that they can take note of. So first, during the goal setting conversation, it should be two-way between supervisor and employee. This ensures that both parties' goals are aligned and will be met, which is a source of motivation for the employees to put in effort and output high performance. Though it can be time-consuming, I believe that it is worth it for the long run, as the employees will be able to track their own progression through the organization and allows the supervisors to recognize their own employees' performance as well. This is beneficial for both parties as it creates an environment for growth for the future and allows conversations about increases in rewards. Secondly, supervisors will also need to ensure that employees have the adequate resources and support that they need to hit those higher performance targets and goals. This tackles the unfair issue of everyone having different skills and where some may be more skilled than others. Since everyone has access to support and resources, it should make a more level playing field for everybody. Lastly, throughout the whole performance execution period, there should be ongoing conversations regarding progress and looking forward for the future. This is an important step to ensure that the model is sustainable in the long term and continues to meet the changing goals of the organization and the employee itself. This is the end of my presentation. Thank you very much.